Greetings, this is garthrs, the tireless adventurer, with another episode of Starmade, and this one is going to be a little more tutorial than the last one, which was not tutorial at all. Now, there are about 42 million freaking tutorials out there right now, so I'm just going to cover the basics. When you're in ship build mode, there are several things you need to take into consideration. If you haven't started the game, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. Start the game. Click spawn, and then follow along. That's how easy it is. Forward to back, left to right are pretty normal. Q is down, E is up, and that is about where we stop right there. Now, when you're building your ship, there's several things you have to worry about, and there's three different ways to look at a ship. We could look at a functional ship. I don't care what it looks like, as long as it works, awesome. And those kind of ships are great, but they're not as much fun as an aesthetic ship. Yes, and that's a ship that looks good. Oh, yeah. Everybody loves sweet, sweet rides. And then there's the third kind of ship, and that is a ship that looks good and is functional. Gasp! What? You can have both, you say? That's true. And let me show you how to do that. Now, there's several ways that we could do that. Let's say I wanted every single one of these gray hulls right here on my ship. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're not going to do that at all, because I'm. Oh no, I don't. No, shh, it's okay. Stroke your hair. Anyway, advanced building for a basic tutorial. That is what we're going to cover today. First of all, you want to do is hit your left control, which is going to bring up your advanced menu over here, and you're going to check this odd sim mode right there. Okay. And then we're going to click YZ plane, and we are going to click on the block right in the front. You want to maintain the left control down and click on that block, and then you'll see YZ is now ready to be unset. And then we're going to take the XY plane, which for the record I didn't know about until after I finished my massive build. So I'm literally sharing with you guys something that I didn't know. And now what we have is basically 4 quadrants. Now, you're like, well, what do you need 4 quadrants for? Garth, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Well, I'm about to show you why it's going to make sense, and you're going to like be blown away. Now, when I build, that's kind of weird. When I build with this right here, I'm going to get a square. Why is that? I got some kind of weird. Oh, I shift scrolled. But you'll notice when I place one in the front, it places one in the back too. That's what it does. It builds in symmetry. Now you notice that my part count is going down. 42624, 42622. So it is actually using the pieces. And you're like, well, why is that helpful? Well, let's say that you wanted to build a really cool kind of like diamond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you can just basically go in here like this. And just like that, and you could build just straight up like this, and you would get a diamond shape. And you're like, wow, that's pretty awesome, dude, that is the most amazing thing ever. Well, yeah, if you want a shape that is the same on all aspects, all regards, and all directions, you can also take that third one and do the ZYX plane, and you want to I guess that would be, yeah, that would be it right there. So now it's all the same on all 3 channels. All 3 channels is up, down, left, right. Which up, down, left, right would be 4, wouldn't it? And then you can just do your little stair-steppy thing up there with all the awesomeness, and you'll notice it's creating a mirror in every quadrant. And you're like, what? Oh my God, you know I just built the Death Star? I'm like, yeah, I totally know. Where's it at? I built that without this knowledge. That's my space station, and that's my spaceship. Get out of town. Anyway, so I mean, it's fairly easy to do as far as the advanced building goes. Let me get the sun out of your guys' eyes there. That was just rude. We'll just build this up here a little bit, like thusly. I did. I need to add one more. And you're like, well, Garth, you know, you built this beautiful ship, but it doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't do anything. And I'm like, dude, I totally know. But here's the secret, okay? After you've built an amazing ship of awesomeness, you can totally add things to it. Or you can add things to it and then build an amazing ship of awesomeness. Now let me show you what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to leave the YZ on, but we're going to unset the XY. Right there. And we're going to unset the XZ. Because I just want this down the center. And this is the front way right here. Now let me show you several little tricks for building that are going to help you maximize your space and maximize your output. Now, when you're building, it's important to remember that not everything needs to be filled. You can have gaps, you can have holes, you can have whatever. The important thing to remember is, of course, that you don't want to waste space. So if you're just filling in an area with hull, you're wasting the space. Because if you look over here on the left, I can't come to the screen right now. Actually, oh, I can. But if you can look over here, you'll see this mass is 11.7, blocks is 117. The higher mass, the more thrust you need to move / stop / whatever. So remember that. Space doesn't need to be utilized unless it has to be utilized. Now, if you have, let's say you have a ship like this and you don't have enough thrust, but you have room to put engines in, you can go ahead and put engines in. It's not a big deal. So here's what we're going to do on this one. First of all, we're going to cover power. Power is important because you don't want to cube it, you don't want to block it. You want straight lines or L's. That's the secret. And you don't want it touching other groupings. So we'll go down like straight like this. Now, if you look at my power on the side here, you see that I'm at 476.4, basically regen a second. And with the final two, that pushes me up to 763, which is not bad. If I use up power, it'll regen it at 763 E per second, which is very, very nice. Now I have two power groupings here of roughly the same size. They're exactly the same size because remember my ship is symmetrical. And I'm putting out 1,527 power. And you're like, wow, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. It is. It is very cool. And I just wanted to say thank you for noticing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to our battery. Because the battery doesn't affect your recharge, it affects your storage. And you don't need a great deal of storage. But what you can do is use the battery like 4 or 5 in a row there. They work better in a block formation, but we don't really need that much. It only raised us up like 16 out of 20,000. We went up from 20,000 to 20,016. So that was 6. That's 5. Actually, let's do 6. Which put us up to 20,023. But let's take these 3 right here. Actually, I'm still symmetry, so let me go ahead and do that. Now you look, 6 that way only gives me 23. And now there's 7. Oh, actually, is this one? Is there something there? There is. That's strange. It took 7 to get me the same. I was fairly certain that block formation worked best for that. Or was it already 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I looked at it wrong. It was 7, so never mind. So block formation is more compact, but I'm hearing that it stores in larger quantities better. But I haven't really. It's really hard to. What's the word I'm looking for here? Validate anything, because there's a lot of misinformation on the internet right now. So even the Wikia says that blocking the battery storage is good. All right. So anyway, we have power gen. We have power storage. We have a weight. What do we need now? We need, obviously, thrust. Now, in the symmetrical view like this, I like this view because when I build along the sides like this, it puts it on both sides. So there's 8 engines, which provides for us, if you hold down the left control, I can use my mouse pointer, 15.5 thrust because my mass is 14.4 and my thrust is 15.5. And then there's some kind of equation, and I don't know what it means, but that's the end result, 15.5. Remember that, 15.5. And when I get in this puppy to fly it around, you notice it's really fast. It's really fast. I saw sarcastically. You notice that? It's really fast. Sarcastic. All right. The problem is that my mass and my thrust are out of balance. So let's go back into build mode, and let's fix that problem. Let's go up to the front there. Now, this ship right now has basically no offensive or defensive capability or hull, which is very bad. But if you look at my thrust is now 49.7. So let's get back in here and let's see if it goes. Oh, whoa, hey, wow, that's huge. That's huge. Okay, so just to cover briefly, every block that you add adds to your mass, but every thruster you add adds to your thrust, and the amount that it adds is exponentially greater than the individual block itself is affecting the mass. So that's always a good call. We still need to be able to access our core. Very important. Always remember that. Got to be able to access your core. So here's what we're going to do now. We've put on battery storage, battery or power gen, and thrust, but what do we need? What do we need? We need something to protect ourselves with. So let's go in here and grab a weapons computer and just a few cannons. I'd probably say 6 or 8 would probably be good for now. And we're going along this symmetrical view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cannons right down the center. Now, I've heard a lot of theory about how to build your cannons best. That X, Y, Z makes a difference. But Rhett and I were tearing it apart the other day, and we had it set up. We had one set up 3 across. We had one set up 9 across. We had one set up, 3 back, 3 up, and 3 down. It doesn't matter how we set it up. We got the same readings in the weapon computer. So I'm going to just assume let's do that right there. Now, what's going to happen as of right now? This ship, when I fire my lasers, is going to automatically select one of these to fire. Now, there's 2 ways to put your weapons on. I kind of did it the stupid way, but you can do it your own way. Because I'm not doing a lot of weapons, it doesn't really matter to me. You put your weapon computer down, automatically selecting it, and then you just go through and you go like this. But it's usually quicker to put your weapons computer down first. Put your weapons computer down first, and then you add your stuff. Because you notice when I put this down, there's a green line, which means it's already connecting. I think I put that down in the wrong spot. Let's put it right there. Yeah, so there we go. There's 3, 4, 5, 6. And basically, it'll just pick one of these, and that will be the origin. And you can actually turn it into the output. Like if I want the output right here, you have to go into regular mode, and then you go up to it. You go around this side. And see, I want this one right here to be my output. So I hit R on that one, and then I go over to the other side, and I do the same thing. And the same thing. There you go. So now when it shoots lasers, it'll shoot out those 2, because I've told it to. Make output with R. Boom. All right. So now we have a pretty basic ship, which has some really basic armament and some really basic power gen and thrust. And the important thing is here that you have to note that I built my frame out of hull, but you don't really need to. You can build your frame out of power gen. You can build your frame out of battery blocks. You could build out of thrusters. Thrusters work better when they're in a straight line like this, but literally you can just line your floor with thrusters and you're good to go. You don't have to put them in the back. You can put them up front. As long as they're pointing in the right direction, that's pretty much all that matters. So now that we have basic power gen, basic thrust, and basic weapons, let's do just a little bit of shield dispersal. Now, shields are pretty good because if you look in the right here, basically it's a 8 shield per second is the regen. And as you can see now, I have 1810 shield just with those 4 blocks. I have 1810. The downside is that's about 6 or 8 shots and then you're dead. And then your stuff is all blown up to smithereens. But the more you put on here, your total shield count goes up hugely, massively, but your shield regen doesn't go up as fast. So basically what you have to think about is right now I can sustain basically a balance of about 24 damage per second, because that's how much I regen. Anything over 24 damage per second, and I'm taking damage to the hull. And almost every laser beam fires off more than 24. Now with the... was it right here? I think it was right here. Let's do that. Let's do that right there. And we're going to do the CX plane again. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so, and we'll just build these back up a little bit. Because I like a ship. I like a ship that looks nice. Pretty awesome, huh? I hate it when I do that. I always do that. I back into something and then place a block. And it basically places the block behind me. So there's our ship. and I don't want to do anything else because I'm lazy. But what we do need to do is get a cockpit. So let's buy a cockpit. I don't think I have any of those. Let's see. Nope, no cockpits. Alright, so let's go to the shop, and we're going to buy a cockpit. This is where you can find all your stuff. You obviously knew that, or you wouldn't be watching this video. Cockpit. There we go. So we'll just buy one. Throw it in there because I don't need a bazillion of these things. And then we go back into build mode. And then we decide where do we want to fly this puppy from. And I think right here would be great. So let's put the cockpit right. I'm going to get rid of that one too. But let's put the cockpit right there. Now that little dot is where you're going to see out of when you go to your cockpit. So that's the important part. You want to remember you keep that dot clear. We could put stuff in front of it, but effectively we just made the cockpit obsolete. So just remember that. Okay? Just remember that. That's the important part. Remembering things that I say, because I don't say them for my health. I say them for your benefit. Actually not really. I just like talking. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. Well, almost. It's like top 5 easy. And effectively what I'm doing here is I'm just filling in the gaps. And it's at this point, literally, the hull is aesthetics because the shields are so important. When your shield count gets up to a certain degree, hull becomes superfluous, honestly, because you're just stacking damage to break through people's shields. Which, in my opinion, at endgame, at the end game, this game's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bad-mouthing the game, but high-end game, it's pretty much 100% about build. What can I build now? You know what I mean? So, and I have a lot of fun building, so I'm not gonna bad-mouth anything. Well, I'll bad-mouth it. I just call it names and junk. It's cool though, because I'm not. No, actually, it's not cool. I'm a jerk. Don't agree with me. That's rude. You're supposed to not agree with me. You're supposed to say, God, you're not a jerk. You're a great guy. But you don't have to if you don't want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. All right, and I know you're like, wow, God, this is taking forever. Can you do me a favor and please, can you do the fast version? And I'm like, no, I can't because I'm building now and my brain is in build mode and you have to watch me build while I build in build mode. I love build mode. It's my favorite. I say that about a lot of things, don't I? I'm very misleading. Let's put you there, and you there, and you there, and you there. Okay, so now we have a ship that is just uglier than sin. I mean, no, this is like a face not even a mother could love. But I love it. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's give this puppy a fly. Now, you're like, okay, well, I can't see right. Well, when you get into flight mode the first time, you're going to have to go ahead and go to the cockpit. You may have to do this a lot of times, too. But let's go ahead and fly around with it. Oh, yeah, but hey, I put weapons on. Look at me. I'm awesome. All right, so basically. And you notice that when I got in here, let me go ahead and bring this to a stop. You can bring it to a stop with the shift key is a rapid deceleration. And when you jump out, you'll notice I don't have any ports for the weapons to fire through. I don't. It's because you don't need them. You don't really need them. They're literally aesthetics. Having ports for your weaponry is aesthetics. So, the flight controls are fairly simple in this one. Forward, back, left, right, strafe, up, down. All the same, except for Z rolls to the left and R rolls to the right. That's the only difference in the flight mode. And obviously the space button doesn't jump. It actually ejects you from your aircraft. And if your aircraft isn't stopped, the aircraft keeps going. So, inconvenient at best. At best. So, on a pretty small scale that I built this on. So let's go ahead and jump out of ship, and you know to yourself, hey, there's no way out of here. I'm like, I totally know. Totally know. So I'm just going to dig my way out because I don't even care about this ship. As a matter of fact, I'm going to blow it up. I'm going to blow this ship to smithereens with my other ship, which is right there. So just let me give you a couple of how I did it. All right, just so you know. There are some areas like this I'm not satisfied with at all. I'm going to have to fly over there and fix that here in a minute. But for now, actually, I always carry extra cores because I get ejected. The game's in alpha, so you get ejected from things a lot. Okay, I made it to the ship safely. And we're out. That's what you do. Hey, hey, hey! Okay. Alright, anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go blow the other little ship to smithereens, and I'm going to show you what's going on with massive power and stuff like that. So I come up here. Actually, I don't want to be up here. I want to go downstairs. I got to enter the core. Remember, you always have to enter your core to fly the ship. You can't enter a cockpit. You can't enter anything else. So let's go down here. Just right here. These are all thrusters, by the way. And we'll enter the core. Go to the cockpit. Alright, and now we're going to look for the ship that I just built. Oh, there it is. Alright. You're thinking to yourself, Garth, that thing is beautiful. Why are you going to blow it up? I'm like, because I hate it. It was designed strictly as something to pass the time. No, anyway. 41%, 9%. I turned down the distance because I think 673 meters is fine. Literally, it's just peachy. My 518 damage is what I'm looking for here. Let's see if we can get this. Now just to give you an idea. Boom. You see, that's pretty much, that's it. Yeah, it's a lot of damage there. Oh, core's overheating. Alright, let me just go ahead and finish that off. There we go. Come on now, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. I can't hit the core, it's too tiny. Come on, blow up already. Hey, Joe! There we go. I guess once you get it to a certain time frame, there's really no fast way to take out a core. You gotta wait, let it overheat. But I guess I can blow the rest of the ship up. That's cool. Now my damage right now is nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to what a lot of these guys out there are. But my defensive capabilities are pretty high in this one. And I'll show you how in a second. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Blow up. Blow up. Blow up. Yeah, I guess that's it. Alright, anyway, in ship mode, if you hold down the right shift, you can actually look around from your point of view. Which right now is right here. So, I'm at the front of the cockpit. Just right shift allows you to look around. Just remember that. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump out of here real fast. And let me show you some of the things that I've done and the principles that I discussed earlier in the build. Now I told you the empty space is fine, you don't have to fill it, but if you need something, i.e. power gen or power storage, you can fill all the little gaps with it. See, look over here. I got power gen and power storage all throughout here. I got thrusters. I got engines in the front. I've got power storage. I got shield gen. I've got more power storage. I got more shield gen in the back. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with your power storage, and I'm actually going to show you something here in a second as soon as I get in here and activate my core. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about specifically. Alright. Alright. It's up. Okay, here. We're out. But if we go down here into the basement, you might be able to see it. I don't know. Probably not, though. Okay, this is the bottom of the ship area right here. Let me see what I got here. Alright, I have one selected. So let's go ahead and break that out. Look under that. What do you see under that? My jet engines and my shields. I pretty much filled the bottom 2 layers of the ship with those things. And I still don't have enough thrust to stop on a dime. So just to let you know, you're going to need a lot. I've got a whole bunch of thrust back here. That's not even anywhere near where it needs to be. Then you come in here, you notice all the battery storage that I have that goes pretty much all the way across here. And then you have the shields and the other battery gen, or power gen I should say. And if we come all the way over here, now this whole back system is empty. Where's my light? Let me get a light on here. There we are. Put these down so you can see. You see that? It's just empty back here. I mean, there's all kinds of empty space. And you're like, why didn't you fill that with shields? Because the shields, literally, at this point, I have 51,891 units of shield. And I regen about 6,500 a second. So, literally, in order to get through my shields, you have to do more than 6,574 points of damage to actually get through to my hull, which will resist another 100 points. And as you can see, there's even more shields over here. Now, you're like, yeah, that's not a lot of damage if you think about it. Now, here is my left Yeah, my left cannon. This is my left cannon. Just so you know. Just so you know. This is my left cannon. And it goes all the way up to right there. That is what my left cannon looks like. That's how long it is. It goes from all the way back there to all the way up here. And literally into awesomeness. Right there. Actually, this is what I was talking about not being satisfied. Let me put that there and that there and that there and that there. I think that looks much better. I like it. Oh, did I do it on the other side too? Did it? No, it didn't. Okay, cool. I forgot I had the ZX on or whatever. But anyway, so as you can see, there's lots of things that you can do, and I even have a central cannon, which is massive. So there you go. I mean, I've got a lot going on in the ship, and I have a lot of empty space. If I didn't have the empty space, if I filled this up, I would need to fill it up with thrusters just to get it to move around. So, yeah. So I think that pretty much covers all the basics and a little bit of the advanced build as well. So let me just close this out with one more little word of caution. Okay. A lot of people like to get out there and they like to try to build these awesome ships right off the get-go, and they want to go take on the pirates. Now, pirates at this level are literally, they're obstacles. They're not even hazards anymore. They're like, how inconvenient that I have to kill these 14 pirates before I loot their ship. You know what I'm saying? It's an inconvenience at that point. But what you're looking at primarily in the beginning, in the beginning game area, is a little bit of defense and some salvage. That's where you want to get it. You want to find those space stations, you want to take out that stuff, you want to sell that junk, and you want to build a ship that has a little bit of butt behind it. It doesn't have to be a big massive fleet ship like this, but honestly, I was jealous of Rhett's humongous freaking salvage cannon, and I wanted to build something to make it look small, and that's what I did. So this makes it look small. This makes it look small and makes me feel big, and that's all that matters. All right. So in the I think in the next tutorial that I do, if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. And the next tutorial that I do is probably going to be on the space station, how to generate and or build one, or what you're going to need, what's going to be important, what's not important, what's aesthetics, what's not aesthetics, you know, stuff like that. So if you have any recommendations for tutorials, something you'd like to know about, you can go ahead and look that up. And then right after the space station, I'm probably going to get into turrets and turret defense, because those two go together the most. You can have turrets on ships, but normally you see turrets on space stations. So we'll go space station next, and then we'll do turrets and turrets defense. Docking is pretty simple. I'll cover that in space station, and as it applies to ships as well, vessels. All right. So I appreciate you guys swinging by and spending your evenings with me, and I'll talk to you turkeys on the flip side. See ya.